Alright, that was fast. Hopefully that means there's good internet connection. Let's see. I wonder how many different paint apps there are. This is like the old school one that never changes. Uh, that's fine. So there's good news. It's been like, I don't know, 3 months or so, 4 months or so, since I tried walking on grass, unsupported with no canes, just due to weather and not feeling good physically, cold and things like that. It turns out that I can still do it, which means this is why warning is important. Let's see. Make this bigger. Oh, I see what happened. I updated my computer and I lost all my preferences. That's not that cool. Font I like is called Yellowtail. It's pretty much like the best one for me. There you go. So, let's see. You should there you go. You should learn as much as possible because you never know what will stick in your brain and what will not. Now, I'm sure a doctor would say something like, well, once you pick up a skill like walking unsupported with cerebral palsy, that skill is going to be hardwired. But it's one thing to say that, and it's another thing to be the person that actually puts that in practice. It's kind of like putting all your chips on the table and hoping it works out. Because the alternative of it not working out is maybe you cracking your head pretty hard. It leads to this. Let's see. I don't like, this is people have such a misperception of this. I could talk about this too. This is a bad phrase because it implies that a theory has no observational grounding, and that's not true. But anyway, if we were to just get rid of this word theory and just say maybe ideal outcome versus realistic outcome. Whenever you try to walk with no canes or do anything that pushes the bounds, if you think about it hard enough, which is kind of what you have to do if you're going to progress and move forward and try to do it, you're always wrestling with the difference between the ideal outcome and the realistic outcome. Now, somebody could say that once you learn something, the skill is hardwired, which would be an ideal outcome. But I'm talking much more about the realistic outcome. The realistic outcome being weather plays a big part in your muscle tightness, whether your muscles want to move. And if you fall the wrong way, that's like your one shot. So you have to weigh this, and it's not easy to weigh. There's no real formula. It's more just an individual feel, which is kind of why, unfortunately, my method can't be taught. It's very much just a isolating, lonely feeling when you've done something pretty cool, but yeah, you know it only exists for you. This is what some people say, but they talk about it in a different way. They say, something like this. This is, if you use this phrase, it's kind of a broad brush of what I'm talking about. But I can't think of another phrase that is relatable to the masses to describe what I'm talking about. It's almost like the feeling like when you had expectations of something and then you realize that for a small but significant reason that expectation is not going to be reached. When I first started putting up videos of me doing all these physical exercises and making progress in things, I thought on some level that it would serve as an educational purpose and maybe replicatable, but you quickly learn that the amount of pain and danger associated makes it not replicatable in any real sense. And what you've done is just kind of a one-off. Which is taking advantage of your hyper specific skills. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Now, there's one principle that governs I'll just call it this. Walking with cerebral palsy. This is North Star. I made a post on this today. So, your success or failure is going to come down to two things, or it's going to come down to one thing. It's going to come down to this question. How much force can your foot how much force can your foot put into the ground? If you're in a situation where, which is the case for most people with cerebral palsy, they can put a lot of force into the ground with their foot. This gives them the feel of almost walking on ice. Okay. If you have an inability to put a lot of force into your footstep, then, so let's take that case. So we'll say, the cerebral palsy case. Okay. They have lower um lower body weakness. So, what happens here? If you have a situation like this, then you may still be able to walk. So, but the way that you walk is going to be very abnormal. I know for me, when I walk on grass, I am using my legs, of course, but they're along for the ride. I'll just say legs. They're almost last resort. Really what you use. So, say, I'll make a new one. And I'll say, your primary, I gotta change that color. Really, I gotta change it again. Okay. Really, your primary is to use your abs and chest, and back to stay up. Also, your arms, but your arms again are essentially a last resort. If you get to the point where you're in a weird way, then you're probably within a second of falling, and your arms are trying to act as a counterbalance, an immediate counterbalance to stop something really bad from happening. Uh, okay. You don't like to see that orange caution light, but that's okay. That's okay. It's bound to happen sometimes. It's interesting. So I'm saving these files now. It'd be interesting to see if you go back, how many of the files have very similar color schemes? So I have the same background color and the same font color. It's pretty interesting because there's only so many combinations. This is interesting. I don't know why this is. But so okay. I might make that bigger. So my arms hurt all the time. Just shoulders, what have you, right? Without fail, all the time. It seems like I always need a tight shirt on to feel better. It's like, I don't know if it's psychological or what, but you will get to a point where I'll write this here. Cerebral palsy breaks you down. This is interesting. Switching topics a little bit, right? So, this stream is a bit real so far. So you have, yeah, okay. I'll put it this way. I've noticed that streams come in two flavors. So I don't really plan these out. But you have the real stream where you talk about real stuff, like important stuff that matters. And then you have the chill stream. It's kind of funny. So, here's the deal. I've said this in another stream, but I want to say it again because it's true. So, people will watch my videos and they'll get a real sense for them being really real. So, that's cool if you're into that. But I've noticed from my streams, at least the chill streams, people will subscribe after watching a stream for a few minutes. And then literally the next day, probably when they've watched a video and seen that the majority of my channel is actually real and not just chill nonsense, they will unsubscribe. I think that's very telling about the nature of YouTube. So, we'll say the desired nature of YouTube. The desired nature of YouTube is to be chill. So the more you can fit that mindset, the better you're gonna do. I haven't found a place where you're actually rewarded for. So I'll write this here. Yeah, that might work. Let's go darker than that. So I'll write this. Where is the place that rewards real the rewards real talk of hard things. Does that just not exist in our society? I'm not sure. If anyone knows, more than welcome to tell me, because it's kind of perplexing. Maybe like so you see that in college, right? But where outside of that is, so where outside of that is real talk sought. Like, I'll just speak for American culture, because I really do believe that only people that live in a culture should speak on that culture. But American also it works too, because it just so happens that American culture is predominant globally, because we are such a powerhouse economically and militarily that when I speak of American culture, I'm by extension speaking of more than just this particular landmass. So that's nice. So it seems expansive, yet empty. You have the mass shooters in America that's caused by easy access to firearms and psychological issues. But I feel like a lot of the psychological issues come from the emptiness of American culture. Okay, that's a nice coloring for a sheet. Let's do a new one. What? World Sleep Day? What your dreams mean? I did a video on dreaming just the other day. This is my latest video. It'll come up at some point. It's gonna be a while though. I was gonna make a video today expanding on that, but there were things that got in the way. So maybe I could do it now. Why not? I can try. I don't think it was long enough to make an actual video. So, I was thinking about this. So, you have, let's see if I can spell this right. Um, there you go. Conscious creation versus unconscious creation. That's fine. Okay, now, my opinion is that conscious creation, meaning artistic ideas you think of when you're awake, always, so I'll say, CC, I'll say, it seems forced. Whenever I envision an idea, it always seems like you can envision it to a degree, but your mind puts a almost like a blocker on it. So you can't envision it fully. You can envision it in like very broad strokes, but the richness disappears. However, I've noticed that for unconscious creation, that seems totally free fun. I've noticed that conscious creation can get to the free flowing state. So, let's see. Conscious creation can be free flowing, but I need to be in an exhausted state. Probably the major purpose of dreaming or of sleep in that scenario is to give you a creative outlet. I don't know. I think maybe being exhausted shuts down the part of the brain that wants to inhibit free flow. I'm sure sleep scientists know exactly what that is, but I don't. Could try to look it up. It would be something like Google search term. Um, um, exhaustion enhances creativity. Let's try it. I disagree with that. That's totally opposite of what I'm saying. I disagree with that. This highlight here says lack of sleep can negatively affect your creativity. Studies show that maybe we're talking about a different. Maybe, maybe I'm talking about I don't know, a different kind of inspiration or creativity. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get more information. Why do artists work better at night? This is totally true for me. Let's change the color. I also have periods of very high creativity and periods of very high periods of short but very high productivity. Okay. Cool. I still want to find what I'm talking about here, and I'm not going to stop till I'm satisfied. Why we're more creative when we're tired. Meditation has also been linked to increasing compassion, decreasing when fatigue boosts creativity. The Atlantic found that people solved more creative problems when they were just a little bit drunk. Let's look at this one. This is The Atlantic. Hopefully it's not copyrighted, don't think it will be. Most of the time we do better at tasks most of the week. But some problems require minds that are just a little bit tired or otherwise impaired. Okay, so this fits what I'm saying. Okay. Chronobiologists, people who study sleep, right? Or how time impacts our biological systems. I want to find this though. So, what are they saying here? Here we go. Like, 3 paragraphs in, we finally get to the heart. This is why I wasn't very happy writing essays in middle school and high school. It's because they want all this dumb extra information. I just didn't care to write. But it turns out there are some tasks that benefit from a mind that's slightly groggy. Here we go. In 2011, some person, an associate professor of psychology, um, there were only 28 morning people among them. Out of 428, the participants then tried to solve several problems. Some of these are analytical, like math problems. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Let's go with Association for Psychological Science. When fatigue boosts creativity. A resurgence of research into psychedelics has renewed interest in their potential impact. What does that have to do with psychedelics? What does that have to do with fatigue? Oh, is this gonna be from the same? Why is this so hard to find? I just want to know what their reasoning is. This is why looking stuff up on the internet can be frustrating at times. Let's go to um, this is going to be from the same article, The Atlantic. Let's go with Smithsonian Magazine. This answer seems counterintuitive. Surely feats of mental dexterity. Let's read what it has to say. Maybe there won't be a cutoff where you have to pay for information. Okay, I think we're gonna get the answer, or an answer. This answer seems counterintuitive. Okay. Author of the book, Best Place to Work, explains why. Okay. Why fatigue is your friend. Okay, this quote is finally going to give me an answer. It's partly because in order to be creative, sometimes you need to consider some ideas that don't necessarily feel like they're on track with what you do, with what you're trying to achieve. Um, And so, having all these ideas come to your mind because you're not quite as good at putting them off when you're tired can actually make you more creative. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It's like the mind has a priority machine, and it won't let some people think of outlandish things. I could see that. The effect makes tired people better at solving problems that require insight. It's also why grabbing a cup of coffee isn't always the best way to seek eureka moments. The focused caffeine lens can get in the way of those stray thoughts. Yeah, so it's about straight thoughts. See, this is why you just gotta keep reading and learning. Because even if you take away 2 words from an article, you never know how useful those 2 words will be for later. That's kind of what Mark Cuban said, I believe. I heard Mark Cuban say this before. He's a cool dude. He said something like, just read a bunch of books. Like, not heavily. Like, you don't have to be so detailed. But even if you can take away, like, I don't know, 2 things from a book, it's worth it. That's kind of like what my streams kind of geared towards. I feel like if you watch these streams of any length, you should be able to take away two things. And if you can't, then the stream is a fail. So if you can, that's success. Things like views and money might come later, but that shouldn't be your initial objective. Your initial objective anyway, if you want to have any staying power, should just be to make things where people can take some things away from what you said. Of course, there's definitely other types of YouTube content which don't rely on that at all. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. So it's about stray thoughts. That's interesting. Is there any more to this? All these ads are so dumb. Like, could they just stop doing that? I don't. This also irritates me. So, if we look at what Twitter or X is right now, I've said this before. I believe in YouTube videos, maybe a stream as well. But OnlyFans, or I should say X. Let's say X. X. I need a different color. Uh, what? Maybe brighter. You eventually get it right. You only have two choices. You eventually get it right. Whatever. I'm just gonna go with a different color then. Totally different color. Because that doesn't work. What is going on? Alright. I don't know what's going on with that. There you go. X is in OnlyFans funnel. That's what it is now. Remember when Twitter used to be a spot where you could just write cool stuff and maybe people would respond. Maybe they wouldn't, but at least it would be fun. All it is now is an OnlyFans funnel. People advertise constantly for you to spend a little bit of money on their profile. And you know what? Honestly, I am an OnlyFans creator, but I don't advertise in that way. That's not my style. If people wanted my content, they could easily know where to find it. I don't make it hard to find, but I don't advertise to the same degree that a lot of these people do. I think what a lot of people do is insane. I think they spend a lot of unproductive hours. It's like, here's the thing. So, they say more work hours equals better, right? Whatever better means. But, as I was just saying, what I believe, I'll say, but, again, creativity is king. Like, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. Like, Elon Musk is famous for saying that people should work all these hours. How you doing? Yeah, it's hard for me to go back and forth. But it's still I still try. So if you write a comment, I might see it like 3 minutes later. But we'll see. I think people are confused by me going back and forth. But it's the way it works. I know people also, they like people that play games and stuff. But it's my style to go back and forth. So people just have to get used to it. Because they don't have intentions of stopping. And I think eventually my channel will just pick up. I'm pretty sure it will. It has all the hallmarks of doing that. As you can see, it's got a 95.5% like percentage, which is pretty high. So when you're like that, you might stay small, but you might not. 345 is not bad. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. You have to have appropriate expectations, definitely. If you have, um, let's say, if you have high expectations, right? If you have high expectations, if you're just a person generally who has high expectations, then don't have a YouTube channel because you will be you will be you'll be at a loss. You'll be at a loss. Your whole worldview will crumble. It's a interesting. I talk about this quite a bit because it's very interesting and it's very YouTube unique. So it's very YouTube unique. Even on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter X, you don't see this. It's only on YouTube and being a creator on YouTube where you can see what I'll call a global picture. YouTube makes it very easy to see where you fit in, where your ideas fit in, to not only the YouTube landscape, but how the entire world, or at least YouTube audience world, interacts with your ideas. And you're gonna find that most people don't care at all about what you have to say. And that's just kind of the way it rolls. And you have to be comfortable with that. So let me write that down. High expectations. Right. YouTube unique goal picture. So you need to be comfortable. You need to be comfortable with the idea of talking into a black hole. If I were to put it one way, that's how I'd put it. You need to be comfortable talking into a black hole, because that is the experience of most YouTubers. Most YouTubers never get a sizable audience. Most YouTube channels never gain so make sure your expectations and your reasoning for why you're doing something are solid, so that an outcome that may be perceived as negative, if your reasoning is not wholesome, doesn't have the opportunity to crumble you. I don't know. That's just my tip on it, because it could definitely hurt you if you're not in the right mind space. That's a good word. I know that's like a new societal word, but mind space. It's a nice, useful word. I like it. It's now 3 o'clock. I don't know how much longer I'll go. I guess we'll see. I wonder where this person is from. I guess we'll never know. Okay. How long has it been? 1 hour, 15 minutes. We can go for a little bit more. Yeah, why not? That's a cool thumbnail picture I have for this video. My friend said that it's his picture. And he said that it is a picture from Idaho. Idaho Family Farm. I guess you would call it Idaho Family Farm. Slash wilderness, I guess. So they have their farm, and then off in the distance you have nice wilderness. It's like him living in the city, Boise now, but right outside his window you see the Boise foothills, I believe they call it. They're really nice. You pay for the view, but it would be really nice to see mountains right outside your window every day. The Washington area is nice too. It's like right outside of Seattle. So outskirts. Or I should just say maybe driving north into Seattle. in the winter with snow covering all the amazing pine trees. It's pretty nice with the weather and fog going on. It's a nice combo. It's a snow fog and I guess forest. Maybe a little bit creepy, but cool. There's one place that's pretty weird. Well, there's many places that are pretty weird. But one of those places, I'll just say, is from my experience, Oregon. Oregon is pretty weird. It's just the landscape is just, I don't know, the rolling hills, just weird. Another place that is weird is this is an all-time weird state, Wyoming. Wyoming is all-time weird. I'll say is top tier weird. It's so vast, empty, and almost like forgotten. Same with South Dakota. They just have like forgotten feel. They're probably Native American lands. I think it would be cool to explore Native American language. Just say NA. Language. But they're really hard. I was reading, they're what you call polysynthetic. Polysynthetic. And let's see if I can get the spelling right on that. There you go. Take your time and get it right. Anyway, from my very limited understanding, polysynthetic languages have very long words and they're very difficult. But it would be cool to try to explore and see where you go. Um, 3:20. So you know you started a stream early in the morning when you're about an hour and a half in, and it's just now 3:20 in the morning. See, this is interesting. My videos do so well when they're placed in browse feature. They get a lot of views per impression. But for whatever reason, I think browse feature, like I said before, is reserved for established channels, and then suggested video is more put in play for interesting smaller channels. But just this one video, which I think is an interesting video, I thought it would actually get a dislike or two, because it's kind of just my opinion, and it's kind of a harsh opinion. But so far, been recommended 907 times. Not bad. Not bad. This one's interesting. I felt this 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 video right here is probably one of the hardest falls I've taken that has been recorded. I've fallen harder, of course, in the past and things like that, but I can't think of a fall. Maybe there's one other fall, maybe two others that have been harder. But this one hurt. You can tell just by the way that I reacted that was a hard fall. You can always kind of tell. If you ever want to know if you hurt someone, it's not really the immediate reaction that gives it away. It's more just kind of like the look of acknowledgement that gives it away. Like, kind of like their look of coming to understand what just happened to them, that gives it away. So I'll just say, look for the look of acknowledgement. Look for the look of acknowledgement. I'm sure football players know what I'm talking about. You know what I wanted to do on the last 3 streams that I just never got around to? I want to finally look up this one topic. Let's see. Do I want to do that, or do I want to? I think I actually want to do something else. Yeah, I think I'm going to do something else. It is now almost 3:30. So there is something else I want to do in the time coming up. So let's see. Maybe we could start a new file and see where that goes. I think that's the right course. This is a nice development. I'm only gonna write this one thing, but I'll write MSNBC needs to chill, right? So yesterday now was a great day for the government. Trump tried to have his Florida indictment dismissed, and that got smacked down. But in watching a little clip on MSNBC, you would think that Donald Trump had the greatest victory ever because of the small way in which the judge wrote her ruling. It's like these people just don't understand that, yeah, of course, judges are going to give him deference because they don't want to be overruled on appeal. But Trump is not winning. Like, he's slowly losing every court battle. So for MSNBC, I suggest they just chill it down a little bit and just kind of, I don't know, look at the look at the trend line. That's all you have to do. Is the trend line up or is the trend line down? And right now, his legal trend line is down. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's why I feel like a lot of these news sites falter. It's because at some point they lose relevance to a broader audience. So you're only picking up the small segment who would already watch you. That's kind of Trump also has this problem in that Trump is already going to pick up the type of people that you would suspect, but he's not able to grow his support. He's not actually able to change the numbers in a significantly increasing way. If you look at just YouTube numbers, for example, I'll write this here. So, CNN, YouTube is objectively better. So, say it performs better. Than Fox and MSNBC. And the reason that this is the case is because CNN is most in the middle. So it can attract a wider audience whose views are not so previously cemented. Fox is going to have a smaller audience, at least in the YouTube metrics, but they're going to be more devoted. But in terms of, and also MSNBC is going to be the same way, but in terms of votes and democratic systems of government, passion doesn't matter. What matters is straight up numbers. Passion doesn't matter in politics. What you would say is practicality does. Practicality does. It increases numbers. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. What happened there? Well, anyway. That looks cool anyway. Okay. 1 hour 44 minutes. Let's start a new sheet and see if it grows. How about we do that? Yeah, let's do that. See, that white is just too. That white is just too white right now. Yeah. Let's go with brown. That's nice. I like that. Um, Let me see something. I kind of fidget a lot with these, but it's alright. It gives me kind of a little bit of a break. Uh, Let me see. Uh, this is pretty. This is pretty funny. I just had this observation today. I think. I think it's a funny observation. You know how they say Putin? So Putin. Uh, oh, that's why it's at 10. Should be at like 14. They say something like, it's gonna have to change color because I can't read that. Putin is physically imposing. Okay, that's what they say. That is what they say. However, he has no chin. That's just I know that's a kind of a not a very thoughtful observation, but just putting it out there. He doesn't look physically imposing. He has no chin. So the best example of this is Trump is good looking first. That's laughable. 1. He's got unnatural hair. 2. He wears makeup. and tans the skin. 3, non athletic build. Oops. There you go. Well, so I think that that's just pretty important. I mean, in a very non-serious way, but it's still true. So it's non-serious, but it's still true. Let's see if I can read this color. Yeah, I can. That's actually a nice color for this background. It's non-serious, but true. Well, I do know one thing. This would be my last sheet. Whenever it's done, this would be the last one. Oh, this is important. All 3 crumbly family members found guilty GUIL found guilty. That is really, really nice. That's really. I hope that's the start. Hopefully, the start of a new day for the justice system. Response to school shootings. I think that's really important. I really like that color. this is also funny. Elon Musk is now third richest person in the world. It seems like buying X was a mistake. Buying Twitter so funny. His supporters thought that that was gonna be the greatest thing. It was gonna promote free speech and give everyone a voice. But really, the only people that have any voice now on that platform, so just say X, voices are exclusive premium members. Premium members. So in a sense, you have literally freedom of speech, but it's not useful. That's kind of like the ultimate government strategy, or at least a conspiracy theorist would say. They would say, so I'll just say, a conspiracy theorist would say something like, given people rights in name only, not practicable. Oh, that fit right exactly there. That's nice. Oh, no, it didn't, I guess. Oh, yes, it did. Nice. So, that's what Elon has done. So I'm happy he's losing money. It really, I don't know. He's also having some EV competition, which I don't think he expected. Some global EV competition. No, this is pretty bad. Boeing. There's a story, not necessarily the one everybody knows, about the death of the whistleblower, but different one. Story of using I believe it was Dawn liquid soap on a door seal of airplane. So like I said before, so many manufacturing issues. Just like lack of except lack of fine acceptable industry standards. I almost feel like maybe Boeing should be dissolved. Perhaps. Perhaps. I don't know. Funny roast decision is coming out today. It's gonna be fun to see Republicans cry. This qual will fail. Possible possible um possible lower consequences or possible minor consequences at lower level. I don't know, I think it'll be pretty funny when it fails. Officially tomorrow. That's a long word. Consequences. Long word. Nice word. Long word. This is interesting. I saw actually earlier video from like a long time ago. Tom Scott did a video on language classification. Video on language. It's pretty interesting. Just in doing a little bit of reading on it. You have English, which is analytical. And then you have Russian, which is synthetic. I think I like the freedom of I think I like the freedom and the creativity of synthetic language. To me, it seems more poetic. Anyway, it's 4 o'clock now. Oh, that reminds me of this. This will be the last piece. Maybe this is an offshoot of synthetic and analytical language, but you have analytic philosophy versus continental content. Whoa. There you go. Continental philosophy. Now, analytical philosophy sounds very much like analytical languages, and continental philosophy, the way it's described, at least from what I understand, sounds a lot like the nature of synthetic languages. I wonder if the term analytical philosophy comes from analytical language, and I wonder if the same can be true for continental philosophy coming from synthetic language origins. Not sure. Anyway, it's 4:07, so I think that's good. And I got 3 colorful sheets of notes from this. And I think I got 3 live viewers. Yeah, 3 live viewers. And people will watch later, so that's nice. So I will save this and call it good. This was another useful stream, so I'm happy with that too. One last look. Okay. And save this. Okay. Alright. And with that, I will call that the end. Till next time, enjoy.